welcome in Celtics Late Night. Ben Vallis here, along with Jake Eisenberg. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. The Celtics, they gave up the Denver Cup. The Nuggets have seized it back, Jake. 114 to 110 in a game that was not that close. Jake, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. I said with Greeny after late night, like I'm as a fan in a really great place right now, where the wins are hitting like the good old days.
Yeah.
This feels like 2024. This feels like all of the wins in seasons where we're trying to win championships, but the losses are still not hitting in the same painful way that they were in the previous 4 years. And I don't know if that's because the Tatum injury like sucked part of my soul out that could feel pain.
Yeah.
And like
probably.
that's probably part of it. But there's something about the exceeding expectations, and like we've already kind of reached a point where like I don't know, we're stable. Like these little losses aren't gonna kill us. We're still only a few games out of the 7th seed, but I still feel good about the team overall. Sometimes it's just you get hit by a Peyton Watson magnet ball, and you got to go on to the next game.
Yeah, what did Peyton Watson shoot in the end? Like, he started off really
Dude,
hot.
hit 30
and then,
points.
6 of 7 from beyond the arc, 10 of 15 overall,
That's
and
gonna
was
be a
part of the
career.
like Denver size wall that I think introduced one of the bigger defensive challenges to Jaylen Brown that he's seen this season. It was very reminiscent of like 2023 Miami Heat defense against Jaylen, I thought, just in terms of the amount of size that they could throw at him, the timing of the help on him, and the sort of forcing Jaylen into some decision making. I don't know, like aptitude, but also like urgency that maybe he hasn't had to deal with so far this season. And then I thought there was some sloppiness around him, unfortunately, in terms of
Sure.
the supporting cast, which we'll get into. But props to Denver, man. They're like one of few high pedigree franchises in the league. Like recent championship, similar to the Celtics right now, and
Mhm.
a little Spursian. I think like they're just in that tier of franchise. I think, and they go out there without their MVP, the reigning MVP, not most immediate reigning MVP, but you know what I mean. Like one of the
Three-time
greatest players of
MVP.
all time, basically, and still like put a bit of a beat down on the Celtics in the end there. So it's a great win for the Nuggets. I'm with you, Jake. It's not like I'm not walking away completely butthurt from this one. That said, there were stretches where it felt like an extremely winnable game.
It was definitely a winnable game. So yeah, I think two things are true. It's like once we kind of got into the fourth quarter, it felt like it wasn't going to happen. But there were several stretches throughout this game where the Celtics went on like 7-0, 10-0 runs and built this little buffer. And then it'll be like, okay, Celtics have a 7-point lead, got an offensive rebound. Derek White in the corner misses a three. Then Bruce Brown comes down the other end. Or it's like Aaron Gordon hits a shot, cuts it to 5. And then Bruce Brown has like this awesome finish over Hugo Gonzalez's outstretched arm. And the lead got back down to 5. And that felt like it happened 5 different times. There was close to 20 lead changes in this game. So obviously it was back and forth, but there are several runs where it felt like the Celtics were about to get some space, but I never really felt good about what they were doing consistently. I never felt like they had solved Denver. And you're right about the Miami Heat kind of thing. You don't see a lot of teams go to it, but they went to it and switch everything defensive scheme.
Mhm.
And this is where you feel not having Jason Tatum, as good as Peyton Pritchard is, as good as Derek White is, when opposing teams are switching everything and you're forced to go ISO and then they're just collapsing on Jaylen Brown late help, really well timed help. I thought Aaron Gordon defensively in this game was a monster everywhere. And they just weren't quite able to capitalize because they got the offensive rebounds. When the team switches everything, you end up with Cater on Tim Hardaway Jr. And it's like, you got to beat them up on the offensive glass. That part we did. Cater ends the game with 20 rebounds. 10 of them are offensive. There's something of 21 offensive rebounds to Denver's 12. And on a night like that, you're like, okay, that's going to be enough to dominate the shot margin that this Celtics season is being driven by, couldn't convert on the second chance points. Whether it was kickouts for threes, whether it was Cater doing his best Enos Freedom impression, and just
Yeah,
not being able to put the ball back into the basket. Like how many possessions were just like, oh, come
I
on,
know.
I get fine, turnover, and then Denver hits a three.
For the most part, yeah. There were a couple of really nice momentum, like second chance buckets where like Ugo had the offensive rebound late in the third and got it out for an Anthony Simons three.
Yeah, it was
And then I think Anthony Simons scored again on a pull up midi to end the quarter. And then we had at least one Cater just like seizing the ball from the sky and bringing it down and somehow getting back up among a tree of or forest rather of Denver defenders and getting the bucket. But yeah, more often than not, there was failed execution there on those additional attempts, and that was, like you said, like one of the only ways that we were generating consistent offense was through. And like the likelihood of getting a bucket on those second chance attempts is typically quite high statistically. So to fail on that front multiple times, pretty disappointing. There were multiple stretches of this game, second quarter and third quarter for the most part, where Denver were not scoring, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Great, we're getting stops. Where is the run coming from?
Yeah,
And
he was
aside from
there.
aside from that one stretch in the third where we had some like the Gaza three, Gaza took a charge, then JB comes down with an and one, and I'm like, okay, here comes the run. Unfortunately, it just didn't hold, and like you, Jake, like I didn't feel any confidence in the fact that was going to be like consistent all the way through to the end, and then props to Jamal Murray, who just kind of like sliced and diced the Celtics D there, like getting into the paint, kicking out. Denver threes from the corner. I suppose I could bring up like cleaning the glass and figure out the exact stats there, but it felt like they did not miss a corner three all night. But credit to Jamal Murray, who like collapsed the Celtics defense time and time again, kicked that ball out and found those open shots for his team.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he didn't finish with an awesome stat line, but I felt like he hit big shots. And I mean, he had 17 assists. Holy shit.
That's wild.
I mean, it helps when every pass that he made led to a made basket. Like,
Yeah.
he collapsed the defense. The Celtics were just in rotation in ways that the Nuggets were not all night. So, like, part of it was like those Peyton Watson corner threes were wide open. It wasn't his career high, by the way. He had 32 against the Pelicans on the 19th of November, but his second highest scoring career night of his career, which is very lucky for us. But yeah, we weren't able to solve their defense consistently. Granted, we ended up hitting 39% of our threes. It's like you look at the offensive rebounds and the 3-point percentage, you're like, okay, that's a good kind of night. The turnovers killed us. And Jaylen, while I thought outside of the first quarter where it was like, holy shit, Jaylen Brown is just like the MVP talk is absolutely justified. I thought kind of from there on, while he did have moments where he scored, the turnovers were brutal. And I thought that it could have been worse. Like there was some like how many times did he get into the lane and like spin around and throw the ball in the air? Like it was completely uncomfortable.
Somehow Denver like walled off the paint while completely like cutting off the kick out passing lanes for JB, just making life from a decision making standpoint and really from just a existing standpoint extremely difficult for JB. So again, credit to the Nuggets. I really thought it was one of the better like opposing defensive schemes that we've seen so far this season. So again, like in the spirit of the losses not hurting so much this year, like that's great stuff to have on film for this version of the Celtics to get into the film room and figure out like how they're going to compete against similar defenses in the future. Other side of that coin is, okay, like now there's a bit of a blueprint defensively if you have the right personnel, because they really did have like an abundance of sizable wings. I thought Zeke Naji did like quite a good job as well against the Celtics in this game. Just another like rangy wing that they could throw down there at JB and switch all those coverages as well. So tough personnel matchup. Like the copium wants me to like think that we could have gone at Nikola Jokic and that he would have been like a defensive vulnerability. It has been the case in the past. Yes. Unfortunately, he just completely slices and dices you on the other end, which like more than negates that fact. But there were no such weaknesses really to go at in this one.
No, I mean it's an interesting point because like being able to attack Jokic is something you weren't able to do tonight. And they had no problem scoring anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they end up with 122.6 points per possession, 73rd percentile, which is pretty legit. So obviously Jokic makes them a better team offensively, but on a night where they go just completely nuclear from three, how much would that have changed for the Nuggets if he was out there? It definitely would have helped the Celtics offense with Nikola Jokic out there. Having a big that you can attack in drop coverage is how you get teams in rotation, unless you have consistent, dominant isolation scorers. And it reminds me of the Magic series. It's like the Magic switched everything, and it was just basically up to Jason and Jalen to just beat their man over and over and over again. And Tatum had like a 30-point super efficient points per game series against the Magic.
Mhm.
You need him against those types of defenses to win consistently. I think on like if you play this Denver team 10 times, you're probably going to win 6 or 7 of those matchups at least. This, like, going back to the culture thing for the Nuggets, I think that coaching decision where they got rid of Malone and brought in Adelman was great. I think Adelman's much better from an X's and O's schematic point of view, willing to try more things. And the Nuggets know that every win that they can get without Jokic is immense and like so helpful on their quest for actually winning a title. Because they know once Jokic is back, they're going to win their normal, like we're on pace for 60 wins, 55 wins, no matter what. And then on top of that, all these guys are getting more opportunity than they were before, more shots, more everything. And some of their starters got some rest because they played against Philly, was it? And
won.
And so you bring back Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon, but like we've seen it with whether it's Jordan Walsh or whatever, like no matter who it is, if you're in the NBA on the right night, these guys can get hot. And if everyone's playing, I thought Denver was one of the hardest playing teams I've seen this season. Like the Clippers game, that's not a team that wants to play as hard as the Celtics, a team that has Harden and Kawhi and Nicholas Batum. Like these guys just aren't capable of playing that hard for an entire game. This Nuggets team, young, athletic, chips on their shoulder. I was like, oh, if you want to win this game, the Celtics are going to have to fucking earn it. And I thought they played hard enough. I just like that the effort wasn't a problem. It was just execution, finding the open guy, a bit of evil Jalen tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the story. The going, what did they go? 9 for 15 from the free throw line, but a lot of that was like late in the game. They were 1 for 6 from the line. And in that fourth quarter, when it was tight, it's like, oh, it'd be real nice to have 4 or 3 extra points right about now.
Absolutely.
And additionally, the refs fucking, I thought, were brutal for Jalen tonight. 3 free throw attempts, 1 for 3 from the line. I thought that early, especially, he wasn't getting any calls that he usually has been getting lately, but
yeah, he spoke to that in his post-game press. I don't know the exact quote, but he called it out and he said that may have been getting in his head to some degree, which I think is part of the case. We've already talked about like the defensive scheme that the Nuggets threw at him, which was highly effective. So I'm sure that was getting in his head as well. But rough one there. There were multiple times I was throwing my hands up in the AJ, just being like, what the fuck? Like, can we get a fucking foul call here? Very, very troubling. And then, of course, I've got my Denver friend, Dice, waiting until they're up with like less than 2 minutes to go, texting me saying, how about these Nuggets? Like, didn't hear from him for many days in the lead up to this game. So classic weak shit from Dice. But
I both don't respect it and respect it. Because I'm always like, if I'm like one of my best friends, Money Sutton, is a Chargers fan. And I haven't said a word to him all week because I'm terrified. Like, I won't be saying anything until the game is over. Like,
that's fair.
But
avoidance is the best. It works for me as well.
But at the same time, Michael Jordan said it. You know, the mark of a good man is you can talk shit even when you're losing. So I think go back to him and say, fuck the Nuggets. You're not gonna be able to pay Peyton Watson anyway. He's gonna leave.
It's all been said.
Yeah, Tobin.
Yeah.
Very good.
Do you want to guess the corner 3-point shooting percentage per cleaning the glass? This is I've triple checked. This is not
Oh God,
frequency. This is accuracy from the corner.
69%.
90%
Oh,
per cleaning the glass. Good for a 100th percentile, Jake.
I'd
So
say that
there's
checks
your
out.
17 assists, Jamal Murray. Well done. Well done.
That
But
makes
yeah, they
sense.
were great passes. They were on the money, and they were, for the most part, wide open as well after getting our defense heavily into rotation. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
Jake, go ahead.
usually you get like potential assists or like double what your assists actually end up. I wonder if Jamal Murray had 17 potential assists as well. Just
Yeah.
every single one that he threw to someone went in. That's crazy. Yeah, so there's definitely a magnet ball element to it tonight. I don't think that it was purely like they made shots that they don't make. A lot of them are wide open.
Mhm.
Obviously, they shot above their heads to a degree, but I thought they just did a good job getting the Celtics in rotation. It's kind of what the Celtics do. They protect the paint. They are willing to live with Peyton Watson uh, open threes. And I thought for a moment he took like a mid range pull up, and I was like, this would actually be genius. You let him get hot on corner threes because that's like the one shot that he can make, and then it makes him think that he can make all these other shots. You start running him off the line and forcing him into more difficult shots, and maybe getting your head that way, kind of like Cameron Payne, Jordan Clarkson. Like
Mhm.
sometimes those guys make a couple shots and think that they can't miss,
Yeah.
but alas, um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess he's shooting like 38%. He's shooting 36.5% on the season. It's just any NBA player can go 6 for 7 from three. Like if they're a league average 3-point shooter on open shots,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
he got him
Tonight was
tonight.
his night.
Yeah,
Um, I thought Sam Hauser was like uncharacteristically sloppy in this game, like
yeah,
dropping like just butterfingers, and also seemingly, I don't know if this is Jalen's fault or Sam's fault, but like not positioning himself properly according to the offensive scheme. So, causing people to throw the ball out of bounds, and just a number of uncharacteristic turnovers himself. He's only credited for 2 turnovers in the box score, but I just thought he was involved in a lot of the offensive mistakes tonight, and usually like he's pretty crisp. Usually like his touches are really limited. It's just catch and shoot or get off the ball really quickly. We get the occasional Samelo drive and pull up, but I just thought he was pretty uncharacteristically messy tonight, and we didn't get much from Walshy either, and we kind of like rotate those two guys in and out for each other, and I just thought with how limited our wing depth is with no Jason Tatum, that kind of hurt us a lot tonight.
yeah. Hauser, I thought early was making some great plays. I thought he had like a nice block. He was like creating
Yeah, he did.
offensive rebounds, but strong agree. Like just those moments where it's like, I get the ball and it goes fucking
Yeah.
through your legs. And he had a drive baseline where he just threw it like basically into the baseline, basically threw it into Amari Williams. I'm not even sure if Amari Williams was there tonight, but yeah, it was not a great game for Hauser. It was uneven to start. I thought he was doing, and then I do think overall it ended up unraveling. That wing platoon, as much as I love them, the unproven wing platoon, as I called them in my article for Celtics blog that was posted before they lost, obviously saying resetting expectations for the Boston Celtics, talking about how they need to focus on winning the title, and then they go out and lose to the Nikola Jokic Denver Nuggets, of course. But Sam Hauser, Hugo, Baylor, Walsh, like we had the Walsh-assance. Obviously, he had the 13-13 game. Even against the Bulls, I thought he had some good moments.
Mm-hmm.
The switch everything defense, if you can stay in front of your guys and make the other team uncomfortable, can really start to limit everybody else. Because if Walsh isn't getting catch and shoots and spot up opportunities that he can drive, then what is he doing out there? Like 0 offensive rebounds for Walsh, only 1 for Ugo. Like only 1 offensive. I mean, I know they had 21 on the night, so you're hard to be like they need to get more offensive rebounds. But Walsh and Ugo combined for 1 for 6. And I still can't figure out. Ugo did hit a 3 tonight, didn't he? 1 for
It was
2.
quite late, I think. Yeah, kind of in that sort of fake comeback period of the game,
Oh
late
yeah,
in the fourth quarter.
yeah. I was like, why? I don't remember him hitting a 3. I stopped paying attention at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, his shooting has really fallen off.
Mhm.
I think that he will be able to shoot at some point, at least like semi-capably.
He
But
looks like he can shoot. He. I
it
know that
does look
you
like
and Greeny were kind of dialing back the like can maybe he can't like maybe he can shoot
yeah.
takes towards maybe he can't, but the form looks good. I think not that that has really been like a true indicator
I mean,
across
yeah,
the
it matters
NBA.
though.
But yeah, it definitely matters, and he just looks capable and. The basketball acumen that he like presents with at age 19, I would feel more confident than not that he puts it together. I would imagine a lot of his upcoming off season is going to be based around shooting the fucking basketball. I hope
Yeah.
because he does everything
Look,
else quite well.
yeah, look, the volume is just he's taken 43 threes. He's taken 45 now. Like he's shooting 37% on the season. It means basically nothing. He's shooting 61% from the free throw line, but he's taken 15 free throws. Like the numbers are just small. I agree that I'm not worried or confident really either way. I think it's more just like shot, as you said, looks good. I hope he can shoot because that would be very helpful and important. He had an awesome offensive rebound. Like he's good for like one wow offensive rebound per game, and he had an incredible block late in the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 blocks tonight. He's still doing stuff consistently, impressively. I thought he guarded both Jamal Murray and uh, Aaron Gordon better than anybody else tonight. I was like,
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon, that's the type of player, the Kawhis, the Tatums, the Jalen's of the world. Um, yeah, I think he could be a good Giannis defender as well. Like just someone that's big and strong versus like he did better on Jamal Murray than I thought because Jamal Murray is not quite as twitchy as like even a James Harden. He's just got the ball on a string. I thought Jamal Murray's a little more crafty, but um, he did a good job on Jamal Murray. Did a really good job on Aaron Gordon. I still love the defense. Obviously, just I'm just wondering. I'd love to know, can he shoot? But yeah, you just didn't get anything from that platoon, and maybe it was a do we try a Minot and do we go like Joe's been gone away from small ball now for a while, and
Yeah, Scout was talking about it.
yeah, and when now you're playing against a team that's gone small and switching everything. But I think Joe was thinking we're eating on the offensive glass.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't convert the points. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And poised, like we said, poised so long for like we just need the run, and we had like glimpses of like mini runs, but we just couldn't put together enough consistent offense, even for like a 5-minute stretch of the game, to get it done in the pockets of the game where the Nuggets were like begging to be not blown out, but like gone up like 15 points on. I thought there were huge stretches in the middle of this game where like the opportunity was so there, but again, credit their defense. There were instances where it looked like it was going to happen. Like Derek White in the fourth quarter hit a pull-up midi off just like a ball screen, a really solid. I think it was a Gaza ball screen where he just got wide open in the mid-range, and Scout was like, "That looked great. They should run that again and again." I don't think they ran it again at all. But we just didn't continue on to like the typical fourth quarter Derek White. In that moment, I was like, great, here we go. We've seen this 1,000 times. Derek White, who finished the game like 3 of 12 from 3, 7 of 19 from the floor, almost a team low -14. It's like not a great Derek White game. We just didn't get like the pop that we were used to from multiple guys. And then 20 team turnovers. I know we talked about it through the lens of Jalen, who had 7 himself. Like that is like if I could just look at the box score without looking at the final score and pick who won and lost this game, I see 20 turnovers on either side, and I'm thinking, okay, that team probably lost the fucking game. So again, credit to the Nuggets defense for swarming on Jaylen Brown whenever he tried to create any semblance of offense. Unfortunately, is there some like good stuff that we can get to? I think there are a few positive takeaways, but is there anything else like kind of critical or like solid reasoning for the loss before we move on to that?
Well, it's like we win. How many games do we win because Derek White's fucking nails in the fourth quarter?
Sure.
And
yeah, exactly. Not a big deal.
Yeah. And so it's like he went 1 for 5, 0 for 4 from 3 in the fourth quarter. It's just like usually he's 5 for 5, 4 for 4. And it's like we're on the floor just just all hail
Exactly.
Derek White. How did he do it again?
Yeah.
And I guess doesn't happen every single night. But yeah, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, also in the fourth quarter for D White. I've been hard on Cater lately, specifically for rebounding. So I got to give credit where credit's due. He had 20 rebounds. He was also a team worst, minus 16. I don't know if that is fair.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I thought that
Rebounding
he
double. 10
Yeah.
offensive, 10 defensive. Wild
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. But like 10 of the offensive rebounds, how many of them came from his 3 for 8 from the field?
Yeah, definitely a few.
Yeah. But I thought he was good tonight. And I'm trying to, I think I have some sort of Cater bias that's like rebubbled up recently, which Steven in the Discord's been taking me to task for, which is good. This is what the Discord's there for.
Absolutely.
I wake up every morning, I've got my fact checkers on me, call me a dumbass. And it's good.
It's single-handedly the best like online Celtics community that there is. So sign up to the Patreon. We will be going live on our Patreon talking the looming trade deadline immediately after this show. So you sign up to the Patreon. There's multiple subscription tiers, but you get access to all of our additional content, all of our additional podcasts, and also the Discord as well, which is an incredible place to hang out and be called a fucking idiot, but like deservedly so in all instances that I think we've experienced, Jake. So shout out to the Discord community there. Nemesis Cater, it's hard to fault his effort on the glass in this game. I find it really difficult in these instances where the loss was as disappointing as it is to like, I don't know, to derive any meaning from it, but go ahead.
I think like if I was going through just everyone, I'm like, who had a more good than bad game? The number one guy that had a more good than bad game is Anthony Simons.
Like, again, right?
Yeah.
Has he? I don't want to like bear the lead for the next pod here, but like, has his trade value ever been higher in his entire career than what it is right now?
No.
Actually showing out on like a good team.
We're winning the Drew Holiday trade, even for the second round picks that got taken away from us, which I'm still not sure why they did, because Drew Holiday started the season healthy. Granted, he's played 12 games now. Just absurd what's happened to everyone that left the Celtics except for Luke Cornett, basically. But Simons again, 3 offensive rebounds. This is why I'm a sicko about it, because he's so athletic. And really long. When he had that rebound and then that like long reverse, like Dr. J-esque, like under the backboard reverse, spin it in. I was like, yes.
Yeah,
Anthony. Anthony he had a really good defensive possession on Jamal Murray. I thought he held up in a switch against Aaron Gordon. There was multiple times where I was like, don't double. I think the Celtics got into trouble several times tonight in a variety of matchups where they doubled, and then that led to Peyton Watson corner threes. And Simons, I thought, was part of that. Maybe, fair enough. You want to try and help out Anthony Simons when Aaron Gordon has got him on the low block. But when they're shooting 90% from the corners, maybe just make them make a 2-point shot over Simons. Maybe they missed that instead. But I thought, and then obviously he goes 6 for 9 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. He's just a fucking flamethrower from the 3-point line. He had one where like someone got an offensive rebound, passed it to him. He like just ran back towards the 3-point line and like spun around, shot it, knocked it down. I was like, okay, dude, this guy's playing pretty fucking well lately, and I'm very happy about it.
A guy who can make a bucket against like any form of like coverage, outstretched hand, any contest. Seemingly, if anything, it seems to like will his buckets in even more. Great option to go to when like the buckets had dried up and there's somewhat of an offensive drought where like Jalen's struggling to find anything offensively, keeps turning the ball over. Derek hasn't got it going. It's an inefficient game from Peyton Pritchard, who was 1 of 6 from 3 in this game. Like, give the ball to Anthony Simons and he's going to get you a bucket in multiple different ways as well. Like, you just described the shot profile in this one. He had pull-up threes, dribble pull-up twos, offensive rebound into a crazy acrobatic reverse layup, like you mentioned. Like, that is a varied shot diet. And I think that is part of what is probably worthy of its own episode, maybe a Patreon deep dive into
Yeah, I
Anthony
was thinking
Simons,
that.
because like at the beginning of the season, it just felt like he was dribbling out possessions and dribbling up against a defensive wall. And despite this, like the way that he is sort of described and perceived as a player, as obviously a Celtics fan, other side of the country, you sort of hear more about Anthony Simons and maybe you watch and you sort of perceive him as this sort of really quick, twitchy player who can like quickly break down defenses and get to the basket. And we just that wasn't the experience we had early in the season watching Anthony Simons. And then that has now changed, and it can't be as simple as like he's just quicker and faster and more capable of breaking down his defender. There's more to it than that. And so it's, rather than speculating too much now, unless you've got some good reasoning, Jake, it's more worthy of like more analysis, because I want to do it justice. But he really has improved in so many facets of his game, and obviously part of it is like the team's integration of him as well. But it's really impressive. I didn't expect it to happen, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, more than the supernatural explanation that Greeny and myself kind of theorized with, like the compound Brad Stevens is just finally entering the.
You've got to get me some of that.
The nerve. Oh God, inject it everywhere, please. I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing, comfort thing. Like, he was so used to kind of playing in low leverage situations and being asked to have the ball so much that in a more intense environment with serious alphas on the team, like Jaylen Brown, and kind of not knowing where he is in the pecking order. It is, when I watch it, it's like Drew was talking about his explosive first step today. And I don't think he has an explosive first step at all, which is weird because like once he gets going, he's explosive. And the handle is like, when he's in his dribble move bag, is like pretty impressive. And I feel like he gets the defender off balance quite well. But then when he makes his decision to go, it's like he telegraphs where and when he's going just a tiny bit, which allows defenders to get there, which often leads to him taking these, like, he always takes these kind of contested floaters, which he makes way more than I think that he should, because he's just clearly got great touch.
Yeah.
But when he's just decisive and trusts the burst, that great rip through drive on Aaron Gordon for the mid-range pull up today. Really nice. And like, obviously he's got the vertical pop to elevate over guys. I mean, he shot like directly through a contest today and it was nothing but net. Just clearly an explosive shooter. And I think the fit with Tatum, you surround him with more size and more rebounding, more defense, and you bring in someone that's able to generate more good looks for him. Like, he's certainly working his way into the long-term vision in a way that I thought was impossible a month ago.
Yeah, got to see the pairing with Tatum, absolutely, because like Tatum will feast on the like shooting gravity that Anthony Simons possesses. You mentioned that Ugo did quite well on Jamal Murray. I thought whenever Jamal Murray saw Anthony Simons, just to talk about the other side of the ball very quickly and not to like discredit Anthony Simons too much, but whenever Murray saw him, he was like posting him up, and like they were drawing a second Celtics defender as a result of that, and that was opening up all kinds of opportunities for them under the basket. Normally it was like Nimi Cater or Gazu had to come over and help. So that was a wrinkle. And it goes back again to the Nuggets pedigree, just like how quickly and immediately they identify those advantages and take opportunities from them. I thought, again, I hate to say it, really impressed by the Nuggets in that sense as well. But
yeah, what's going on here?
It's almost like Anthony Simons is an imperfect player, I guess is what I'm saying, which is for most players in the league the case. But teams, like you said, with some of those offensive deficiencies as well, just for whatever reason, are pretty astute in identifying those deficiencies. But I'm learning to love the guy, like, because he's I think now a net positive on the team, sort of agnostic of his contract, which again we'll talk to on the Patreon pod coming up.
Which I think is a good
what
time.
Else was I going to say? Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to do a prize picks read because we've done one this week already. I guess, like, just quickly, Luka Garza, 5 of 5 from the floor. First of the floor in this game as well. Yeah. I guess it's really a similar like player profile in terms of their advantages versus their disadvantages as a guy like Anthony Simons, where he's got some really loud positives and unfortunately some really loud negatives as well. But he's making me enjoy the shit out of the season. I don't know what else to say.
I think I think he can be a solid rotational big. I think the offense is legit. Clearly a plus offensive rebounder. I want to see him shoot more threes. He's shooting 47% from three this season. Like coming into the season, that was like the big thing for him, that he's had a super high 3-point rate. And you think on a team that's shooting a shitload of threes, he'd be part of that. Let's find out if he can really shoot, because accuracy wise, he's been huge. Let's fucking get those things up, because if we can get the pick and pop game going, maybe that opens up when Tatum gets back, because Tatum's just so elite at that behind the back pass. You get that going, and because he's shooting like less than 2 a game for a big man in the Missoula Ball offense. I'm like, get 3 minimum. Let's like the per 36 numbers for Gaza shooting wise must be way down. Because he was like crazy. That was the whole thing with him. So coming in last season, 5.9 3-pointers per 36, 9.4 the year before that. And this is career low, 3.1 per 36. Those are rookie numbers. Bump those numbers up.
This is crazy. Like, we got rid of Horford and Porzingis, and we just decided to completely jettison the 5-man shooting from beyond the arc. And meanwhile, the jump our like overall like offensive rating has made is those two things don't make sense at the same time, Jake. And like how improved statistically our offense has been despite getting rid of like an entire position's chance to shoot the 3 ball. So yeah, bring it on, Gaza and Nimi Keita. Like Greeny said the other day, just pretend you're in Portugal. Like he had a couple of wide open opportunities today, and he's like, of course, I'm sure that Joe would just pull him immediately if he even looked at the rim in those instances. So whatever, no shade at Nimi there, but as a fan of the 5-out hoop that we've seen from the Celtics the last few years, I kind of want to see it. But look, Jake, our time in the 2 seed in the East was very brief. The Knicks won, I believe, at the buzzer today, and I'm not going to spend as much time on their subreddit and on their Twitter accounts as I did in the past couple of days after we took that spot in the conference standings. But we'll be back, I think.
We'll be back. And it's more about being there. It's like, I don't know, honestly, it's probably better for us to start on the road in MSG. Like, we're a better road team. Tatum works his way into series. Let's steal home court, so to speak. But yeah, we'll be back.
We will be back in a minute's time on the Patreon feed. So again, make sure you sign up if you haven't already. If you're a Patreon subscriber, we will be live on the Patreon page in a couple minutes' time, talking the NBA trade deadline as it pertains to the Celtics. We will be back on this feed and this channel and probably in a couple of days' time, as will the Celtics be back in the win column very, very soon. Jake Eisenberg, love your work, man. Until next time, go Celtics.